Time to hit the road. First stop, the park, just to get the viewpoint, basically. I did want to walk there originally. It's not that far away, and it'd be interesting to walk because you go across the bridge that I went across the other day and walk along the river. But yeah, the heat yesterday afternoon was blistering, so I feel like if I started off walking, I'd just be asking for trouble. I'd be exhausted very quickly, and so I'll take the scooter, keep my energy levels up. It'll be kind of fun. From here I go straight to the bridge, and then I have to do a fun series of U-turns and curves in order to get it onto the access ramp of the bridge and then off the bridge on the other side. It's a great location for this hostel, like I said, being so close to the river, so close to the mosque, and yeah, close to the bridge here. I'm right here already, but I have to do a U-turn down at the bottom of the bridge by the river and then go all the way back up to the ramp again. I haven't done this before, so we'll see how this works out. If I was on foot and walking, I'd probably have 2 or 3 invitations to stop for coffee already. All right, dipsy doodle around the bridge. Yeah. And now I've got to do I got to go past a police station here, so be on my best scooter behavior. Oh, it says no U-turn to get onto the bridge right here, so I guess I've got to continue on a little bit to be legal and sort of turn around up here somehow. Just looking ahead, scooter just did a U-turn at that no U-turn sign. I'm sure everybody does a U-turn there anyway, but being a foreigner right beside a police station, I figure no reason to give people a reason to stop me. Crossing the bridge. I'm not sure whether the angle of the sun is right for the views up here. Oh, we shall see. Ah, okay. Everything is becoming clear. There's an entrance there to the park if you're walking. So I guess that's where I'm going to go first. The cyclists are continuing up the road because they want the exercise. Look. Parking for a scooter over here. Okay. Hello. How are you? It's another tricky road crossing. They're all tricky because the traffic comes in all directions and at different speeds. Yeah, scooters and cars coming down that hill are moving really fast. Just take a look at the river here. Yeah, it's a good time to come. It's still relatively early, I guess, 8:30 in the morning. But I can already feel the sun just beating down. Gunung Padang is the name of this place, this park. And the ticket booth is over here. Hello. Just one?
10,000 1%.
Okay. And as always, I really have no idea what's here, what you do here, or even where you go. Another reconnaissance mission. But there's a pretty wide sidewalk here heading up the hill alongside the river. So let's see where this takes us. That woman that I mentioned, Angelina, she came here on her video and she pointed out some Japanese bunkers during the Japanese occupation. Of course, the Japanese forces built fortifications in various places, and I guess the hill here commands the entrance to the river. So they built some cannon emplacements up there, gun emplacements, things like that. And she had a guide with her, and the guide told a story that I've heard several times, but I haven't seen anything corroborating the story. I don't know if there's any evidence to prove whether this happened or not, but his guide told her that the Japanese, just as at the tunnels in Bukitingi, used local labor to construct them, all the gun emplacements, but then they killed all the Indonesian laborers so that, the construction would remain a secret. And I've heard that story repeated a lot of times, but somehow I doubt it a little bit that it's true. And I wonder if this must be one of the gun emplacements. But I guess with these, I can't be quite sure whether, like, say, this one in particular was built. Ooh, very muddy in here and dirty. It was built by the Japanese or by the Dutch. It's hard to say exactly the history, but yeah, check that out. I mean, it's entirely possible that this gun was put here by the Dutch and then the Japanese just took it over when they occupied the country, or the Japanese built it, I don't know. But that is one big gun. And yeah, look at that. Commanding the riverside here and the coastline. Wow. Okay, it says it was built 1942 to 45, so it dates from World War II. Pillbox. Here's the front of this gun emplacement. Pillbox, they call it. And I just say that I kind of doubt the truth of the story that all the Indonesian laborers were killed. Partially because, there's no evidence in history. I haven't seen anybody documenting it on any legitimate historical source, right? Plus, if you build something like this, what's the point of killing the people who built it? It's not like it's a big secret, right? I mean, there it is. It's not exactly hidden. So, I don't know. Yeah, getting a beautiful view already of the coastline. The Al Hakim Mosque is down there. Yeah, right there. Landslide, no big surprise. Wow, yeah, look at this. Wiped out the whole fence, wiped out the trees. Oh. Wonder how long ago it happened. Be quite something to witness. I wouldn't want to be standing right here when it happened, of course, but maybe a few feet away. Would have been interesting to see this whole hillside, come down like that. Just before I left from my hostel this morning, my Samsung phone did an update, and it seems like the Google Translate and camera got an update as well or something, because it translated this sign almost perfectly in vernacular English. Did a much better job translating than I've ever seen it do before. I wonder if it was improved. But anyway, you don't really need the words, do you? It's basically telling you don't feed the monkeys, and that there are some protected wild animals here, and don't litter. Fairly obvious things to tell you, but I'm assuming there's going to be quite a few monkeys up here, but what variety of monkey, I don't know, not yet. But whatever they are, you're not supposed to feed them. Otherwise, they'll attack the next person coming up the trail. You give them snacks, they'll want snacks from everybody who comes along. And this park comes with a legend about star-crossed lovers. I don't remember all the details, but I think the story, the historical story, is that a woman threw herself off one of the cliffs to her death because of a love story gone wrong, a tragic love story. This might be telling that, the legend of Siti Nurbaya. Let me do a translation of this and see what it tells me. That sign didn't give any details to the story, but it basically said what I said. It was a Romeo and Juliet situation, and the woman, I believe, killed herself, and she's now buried up here on the mountain, according to the sign. Yeah, so far at least the trail has a nice gradient to it. I mean, they could have carved a trail that went straight up, have you huffing and puffing and sweating, but right now it's very gradual. Going around the outside, and here are our first monkeys. They got hold of some kind of snacks. Oh, okay. Those guys that there's like some guys just came running along the trail. I thought they were exercising or racing, but now I realize they were running the gauntlet of monkeys. They got here, and I guess the monkeys freaked them out, and they just ran past them as fast as they could. It's understandable. They're intimidating animals. They really are. Especially in large groups. And those ones are small ones. The big males, yeah, you don't want to mess around with them. Man, this is really nice. This is, yeah, one of those things. Before I came to Padang, of course, I had no idea that this park even existed. All I saw was the hill. I could see it from the ocean, but I didn't realize it was a park until just recently. And I came here with very limited expectations, but nice. This is really nice. If you like your trees and your jungle canopy and your monkeys, yeah. Look at the trail ahead of me. Big trees going up. Very beautiful. Nice, that's really cool. In the shade, I mean, which is nice. Get out from under that hot sun. This is very pleasant. Again, I don't know if the GoPro is capturing it, but the atmosphere here is very soothing, and I feel in the need for a bit of that right now, so this is perfect. So the slow gradient has disappeared. We're into the going straight up on the steps portion. A couple more landslides here. Recently wiped out the fences. Yeah, I was reading that Padang has an unusually high level of rainfall. It's like one of the rainiest cities in all of Indonesia, and I believe it. based on my experience here. Anyway, lungs are working hard to get enough oxygen to my muscles. Thinking back to that YouTube video again by Angelina, I think. She featured this park in her video. But the one thing she never mentioned is the steep climb to get to the top, which feels like the most important feature of this park, is that to come here, or maybe you just assume that the average person of average intelligence looking at a hill and there's a park in the hill, well, you can conclude you're going to be climbing steeply to the top and sweating and breathing hard along the way. But in her video, she looked fresh as a daisy. So I guess she's in a lot better shape than I am, or she just came to the top, waited until she cooled down, and then started her filming. Beautiful view of the Al Hakim Mosque from right here. It'll look very small on the GoPro, but you can see the big ocean ship up on the, like, washed ashore on the rocks right in front of the mosque. Heavy rains lately, so I'm surprised that the sky is as misty, as hazy as it is. I thought it would be crystal clear, because you can see there's a big range of hills back there, but you can barely make them out from the haze and the clouds. And I may be at the very top. And then, yeah, this is one lookout point. Here's the huge sign. I had no idea how big it was. Like the Hollywood sign. But it says, yeah, Padang. But yeah, the scale of it's much, much bigger than I expected. Look at that. Huh. Good advertising for the town. But like I said, from down on the ocean, down on the shore there, it doesn't look nearly this big. Huh. So, yeah, here we are up at the very top. A lot of family groups of friends up here. And you get, look at that, really nice view. And the harbor, I think, is right around the corner here somewhere, not that far away. But the main shipping port is off in that direction. Maybe around that second or third peninsula. Yeah, you can see a couple of large 4 ships out there waiting. Yeah, that's where the harbor is. I don't know how far I'm going to get today, but the idea is to, once I come down from the hill, ride my scooter up into that hill and then go to the harbor. And depending on my mood, I may continue on, or I can save that for another day, you know, just take the scooter along this coastline all as far south as I can go in a day. I may save that for another day, make that a different small adventure. Yeah, it's really nice. Very nice park-like setting with more seating than you normally find. Which is kind of nice. They have seating for all the people here. Would be a cool place for kids who like rocks and trees and running around, as long as you keep an eye on them, because even where I'm standing, there's a pretty long drop off right there that would hurt you. But yeah, check out the view in this direction with the tree. Look through the tree branches down the coast. And before I head back down, I thought I'd come over here, take a look at the view through the Padang sign. Yeah, it's like a King Kong sign. I had no idea of the scale of this thing, just how big it is. Check that out. Just huge. And you can just make out the mosque through an opening. Hopefully one of these landslides doesn't take out this whole sign. And there's the sign behind me. When I was up at the top on the other side, I was chatting for a few minutes with a local family, mother, father, and daughter. And the daughter was had a very natural ability with English. She said she's never been outside of Indonesia and just picked up English from, YouTube videos and TV shows and movies. But yeah, she was very well spoken in English, and we were chatting for a while. And they're from Padang, as I found out. And then to my surprise, I learned that this was their very first time to come to this park. She grew up here, her whole life lived in Padang, inside this city. And today was the very first time they'd ever come up here. And yeah, we were chatting and laughing about that, or at least I was. That kind of set me off along the line of, human nature. It's kind of odd how when you live in a place, you never actually visit the attractions of that place. It's very common. People do it all over the world. They live in a city with one of the world's great attractions. People will fly all the way around the world just to see that attraction. And yet people who live in that city possibly have never, ever gone to see it themselves. They just never get around to it. So for this family, yeah, they've never come up to this park before. That's kind of interesting. And with that sort of idea, it's not impossible to imagine that someone like me, or Angelina, this other YouTuber, she's been here a few times, I think, she or I would have experienced and seen more of the city than someone who has lived here their entire life, which is kind of interesting. I was just telling this family about that amazing cafe that I stumbled across on the river, the Arau 19. And, I was eagerly telling them all about it, showing them a Google Maps pin and showing them photos of it. And, oh, you really should go see this restaurant. And so here I am, the tourist, I'm the visitor, and yet I'm the one telling them about all the places they should go see in their own city. That's kind of funny. But yeah, it's a nice park up here. The shade is what sells it, these trees and all the shade. And then combine that with the view. It's really nice. Well, time to make my way down, I think. I'm back down at the bottom where I started my climb. It was a bit of a higher climb and a longer descent than I expected. My legs are feeling a little bit wobbly right now. Yeah, just from the effort. So yeah, I'm back down at the river, as you can see. That's where I started. Got to pick up my scooter here. It's like a paid parking lot across the road where I left it. Hello. Hello. There's the entrance to the park, right there.